Hello everyone, I wanted to make a video real quick on my thoughts of something I've been going through and maybe someone's going through it same is how does it work between the spiritual sense of your spiritual gifts versus an income? Because I feel like for the longest time I've been struggling with this concept of when it comes to income and spiritual gifts and like when it comes to astrology and how each planet and the sign that they're in affects your birth chart, whether it's to make form of income, love, and relationship. But like the part of it that doesn't make sense to me is manifesting the creating life that you want. And I get stuck in that concept of it and it frustrates me because every time when it seems like I'm trying to create something or I'm trying to do something in my life, and I feel like, getting out of that system, the 9 to 5 job, and working for myself is something that actually brings me joy and happiness. But like right now, I don't really have anything I'm working on. But it's a struggle in the fact that's like, because I've heard a lot of people say it's like you should do something when it comes to work of income that you're passionate about. But the thing that doesn't make sense to me is when people mix it with money. Is a sense if it's your spiritual gift, it's what you came into this life to learn and to help raise the vibration of the earth. How does that work in the spiritual sense? And then if you're in the 3D reality, you're going to have to make some form of income. And I think what got me thinking about it is our guru was talking about how when it seemed like he was using tarot card readings, like don't ask people for money, let it just come to you. But in the sense, what if your passion is to do tarot card readings? But do you do it just solely because you're getting money from it, or it's something that you're actually passionate about? And I think that's the tricky part, is not getting attached to the physical sense of material gain from something that you're passionate about. And I'm like, yes, everybody in this 3D reality, we need to make an income, need to, live in a house, have a car, and all these necessities that this life gives us. But at the same time, where do you draw the line when it comes to the spiritual sense of money and your idea of money and how you use it, and how do you go about your mission in life if you have a spiritual path? Or like with astrology, like I feel like I would do well with it as a job, like a coach. But when it comes to coaching, how do you use it in a sense where you're helping people, but how do you get paid? And how does it work for working for yourself? And then it confuses me because I feel like I can make candles or something. Oh, this is my thought. You're like, you can make candles and have people sell them. But like for me, when it comes to anything that I create, it just seems like people are not interested in what I do. I think that's what not necessarily is a fear of mine, is just a frustration of mine, because it's not like I'm trying to compare myself to others. It's the fact that it's like, why does it seem so much simple for these people to make candles, but when I do something, nobody's interested in what I have to sell? And how would that work on my spiritual path? Am I just overthinking this, or is there someone that's going through this? Because it really stresses me out. And then when I look at my own birth chart, which has to do with your astrology and how different planets affect or the signs that the different planets are in your birth chart. Like, for example, my midheaven's in Sagittarius. I have so many ideas of what I could create that I'm passionate about. And it's a hard part putting it down to paper, because, like, manifestation and vision boards, to me, cringes me, because it's like, or even affirmations, because you're trying to brainwash to believing something of yourself to create and manifest the life you want. But you get sucked up in the loop of, well, yeah, things that are meant to come to you will come to you. But on a financial stain, yeah, you could put out good intentions, for you to have a job and things, of that nature, manifesting the life you want. But the part that I get stuck is, what do you do with this negative part of yourself or the things that you deal with on a basis? Because it makes it sound like when people of high degree or spiritual in a sense, they feel like it's almost like above everybody else, saying, you can manifest the wealth you want, you can do this, all about intention and fixing and shifting your mind. Why do we have to fix and shift our mind? Because it sounds like almost like you're trying to manipulate yourself to believe that this is factual when you yourself, half of it, you don't feel like you. And it's like maybe it's in some sense, it's a belief system that you have to reprogram your mind of what everything that you've been taught is a lie. So it's reconditioning, rewiring your brain, but it sucks in the sense where it's like, okay, if you're supposed to, you create the reality. You do all this manifesting work, like you tell yourself, everything comes to me, money comes easy, money comes this, and da 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 da. And then I'm like, where do you start? Like, to start a business, you're going to need money to start that business, where you just, it kind of feels like fairy tale thinking. Like, you're believing so hard, you're wealthy, you're this, you're living in a fine castle, or whatever, you're a multimillionaire. But in reality, it doesn't show that. Yeah, you could put yourself in a mindset of that. But in the reality, you're going to need money to create the business. And that's part that doesn't make sense to me, especially in the spiritual sense. It's like you're trying to create the life you want, but then it's going to, not everything is going to cost expensive. And it's like, maybe I'm just out of myself, out of my rocket, and maybe I'm the only one that feels this. Like, I don't think it necessarily, you shouldn't have a vision board. You shouldn't, say these affirmations, but a lot of it's just repetitive stuff. And I feel like, what do people do on a regular basis when they're fought with these negative things about themselves? They have to reprogram themselves every day, constantly brainwash themselves to believe something that they don't actually believe, or they're believing it so they can get the wealth. Like, it confuses me. Maybe manifestation confuses me. Maybe the whole idea, okay, if you're a guru and you're trying to advise people what they should do in their life, do you play a flute all day and then just money comes to you like that? Or it's just maybe just thinking too hard on the 3D plane? But then I'm like, in a spiritual sense, money doesn't matter. And then I'm like, are you really doing your passion in life just so you can get money? Are you just doing your 9 to 5 job just to get money, but you're not actually in your authentic self? It's just manipulating yourself to believe something that you don't feel with inside of yourself. Like, maybe it's hard to believe, like, these people, they started from a business that was nothing, and now they're multimillionaires out of these business, but they don't talk about the pivotal points of how it all happened. Like, did they have people work with them? Did they have this great intelligence on financial gain, that they had an understanding of how to finance? I don't know. Maybe I'm just above all this in some sense. And maybe I feel like I'm just negative about this whole life on the 3D plane, and just the reality of it just sucks. Because, like, I've tried to create, but then I'm like, why does it seem like other people are supposed to create? Am I supposed to be in the social communication as my work? But then how do you get paid just to be social? If that's your career aspect where you get money. And like, money doesn't necessarily make you happy, but in order to start a business, you need money to start the business. How are you going to make those candles if you don't have the money to buy the supplies for them? I don't know. It just makes sense. I'm lost here in my life, 34 years old. Anyways, have a good day. Thank you for listening.